About 5 years ago, I discovered the red pill. And like most guys discovering this literally happened right after I got my heart broken by a girl. And your boy needed answers on how to be a player. And that's exactly what I got. But throughout this journey, it came at the expense of me never taking time to develop a moral compass of my own worldviews in dating and many other areas of my life. Like for example, these red pill gurus will tell you that if you're not working 80 hours a week or making over 6 figures, you're disqualified from the dating market, which is a complete psyop. And although there was some truth in what these people were saying, if not careful, you can take these gurus' words as gospel and it could send you down a destructive rabbit hole of piggybacking off their lives instead of your own. And I know when you read the title and thumbnail, you see all these inspirational people like Hamza, Andrew Tate, but these people that are at the top of the manosphere space, they have a lot of good takes. Like for example, you should not do drugs, you should not eat junk food constantly, you should be in the best shape of your life, you should not put women on a pedestal. Just overall generally good advice that universally all of us guys can agree on. If you're not careful, you can take every single word they say as gospel, because let's say Andrew Tate or Hamza, for example, they like to speak in absolutes. And so from Hamza, from what I've noticed from like the Chris Williamson interview or from this one YouTuber, I'll put his thing on the screen, not everything they say is gospel. Like yes, some things they say is true, but if you take everything they say as gospel and try to apply it to your life, it's not gonna work in the same way. And so the manosphere and red pill content is very appealing to us for a multitude of reasons. Like it finds you at a dark space in your life where, like, let's say you've gone through a breakup, let's say you're going through relationship issues, which most of us have probably discovered the red pill because of that. That's where they come into place. Like I remember when I first got my heart broken by this one girl, the first person I started watching was Alpha Male Strategies. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first started hearing his advice on like, don't take these girls serious, sleep with as many girls as possible.
At least 50 girls. As a guy, I talk about that all the time. It's controversial.
And that's only advice for degenerates, you know what I mean? But to me, it was so brand new because it broke out of the conventional advice that you normally hear society or your parents or media saying that you should always put girls on the pedestal. Like you see this in movies all the time. But when someone actually breaks that norm and is giving you unconventional advice that you wouldn't hear anywhere, and this is before the red pill even became mainstream, mind you, that is like mind blowing to you. So naturally, you're gonna start watching this person more often because it's a breath of fresh air, and you're gonna start taking on the same worldview as that person. And not only will it make you literally like a minion, but someone who has no thought of their own and just goes based off of what other people are saying on the internet. And hell, even with me, I'm considered a self-improvement YouTuber, but the thing is, I want you guys to disagree with me, dead ass, because I'm only 21. My worldview is extremely limited, and I do have an opinion on certain things that I agree with and things that I don't agree with, but I don't have enough life experience to even give you guys the best advice. I just tell you my experiences, what I think is the best way to go about specific things depending on the topic of it. And then if bits and pieces of the advice I give you applies to you and it's actually helpful, then by all means continue using what's working for you. But not everything these people say on the internet, including myself, is gonna work for you. Like I'll give you an example. I made a video months ago about video games and the dangers of it and why you should quit playing video games. My take on video games is kind of like, but it's changed over the last couple of months, right? So for example, a lot of self-improvement YouTubers, especially Hamza, I think he's like the one that started this, would make a fuck ton of videos on why video games are bad for you, why you're a loser if you play video games. I think that only applies to people who are addicted to video games or anything instant gratification related and just makes that the standard for their lives. If you neglect every other area of your life, whether it's your hygiene, your grades, whether you're in school, work, whatever it is, and you're just playing video games 24/7, then yeah, you're bugging, you're cooked. But because I use my experiences and being a video game addict myself, I used to think, just like him, if you play video games just for 1 hour a day, you're a complete loser. That was originally what I thought. But now that I'm starting to realize that video games isn't inherently bad, it's more so the person that's utilizing it that needs to like take a break from it, you know what I mean? So if you're playing video games and still getting what you need to get done, by all means continue playing. But if it's like taking a hold of your life, you should probably cut back on it. At this point, it's used as a drug. It's used as a distraction from the problems that's going on. Or I'll give you another example, hustle culture. The Gary V's, the David Goggins, Alex Hormozy, which Alex Hormozy gives pretty good advice. But when you have all these people online telling you that if you're not working 12 hours a day, if you're not grinding your butt away and going on repeated months of monk mode, then you're bugging. I don't believe in that. I really don't believe in that. Now, granted, if you are lost and you're distracting yourself with partying, drinking, smoking, whatever vices you have, and you're not focusing on how to better your life, then yeah, maybe a season of monk mode, maybe a season of locking in in or going ghost, whatever terminology you want to use, is needed. But to say that like if you're not grinding 24/7, you're doing something wrong, that I don't agree with. I'm sorry, I really don't. That's just gonna lead to burnout, and it's gonna lead to people feeling like they're behind in life. And so now my take on video games, I'm not gonna lie, once in a while I like to just relax and play video games or do certain things the conventional self-improvement YouTuber would preach not to do. So for example, I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't party, I don't even find those things interesting. And although I don't find those things interesting, if you are someone that likes to like, I guess, do those things, I'm not advocating you do it, but if that's something you actually get enjoyment from and it's a sense of like rewarding yourself, then by all means, if you like to do that, do what you want. You feel what I'm saying? But if it's something that you're doing 24/7 and you're rewarding yourself without even accomplishing anything and you're not earning your own dopamine, then that's a problem. You're just using that substance as a way to distract yourself from whatever it is that's going on in your life. But to say that you should never do this, you should never do that, you should take all types of fun out of your life because that's what losers do, I don't agree with that advice. And that's why this manosphere space can become a little bit toxic, because it makes you feel as though like if you're not doing X, Y, and Z like how these people are doing, you're not gonna be successful. And success is subjective, but like their definition of success should not be your definition of success. Because if you're watching these people 24/7, you're gonna take on their worldviews and think that because they see success as this way, I should see success as that way. You feel what I'm saying? I hope that made sense what I'm saying, but my point is, stop taking these people's words as gospel and only take bits and pieces of their advice that is universally agreed upon that's good, and the ones that don't apply to your life, just experiment, see if it works for you, and if it doesn't, disregard it. Because although as men we have similarities and similar experiences, not everybody's life is exactly the same. It's like a training regimen, like in the gym. If I'm putting you onto a workout regimen that I personally do that works for me, doesn't mean it's gonna work for you. So you gotta do your own due diligence and find out what workout routine, what schedule you need to follow, what type of diet works best for you. Because if you work out like me, you're not gonna look exactly like me. Now I look like a fucking beast. Maybe some of you guys too, but like I'm just you know, tooting my own horn right now, but you gotta find out what works best for you, because it's not a one-size-fits-all metric. There's no right way to live life. Like obviously you know not to do bad things, not to do any harm to yourself, not to do anything bad that requires a level of common sense to avoid. You know what I mean? Things that we universally know that our parents probably taught us, you guys know not to do. And let's go to like dating advice. I know I'm going all over in circles. Hopefully you guys are still watching at this point, but like dating advice, red pill people will tell you, or masculinity content people will tell you, never put girls on a pedestal. Don't over text her. Stop being needy. Stop making her the center focus of your life. Stop being a bitch. Things our fathers should have told us are things that these people online are telling us. That's another thing too. I think a lack of a masculine father figure is the reason why we take these people's words as the truth. When you remove the father from the house, or when your father is not prevalent like that, it's the reason why we go to the internet to find pseudo parasocial relationships with these people online, and somewhat to some degree see them as like a surrogate online father figure. People who exhibit these masculine qualities that we didn't get in our lives is the reason why we tend to like look for it online. And I'm not saying like it's bad to look for advice online. I don't want someone to misconstrue my words, but you should take bits and pieces of that person's life and see what's applicable to yours. Because again, it's not a one-size-fits-all metric. And understand that if you are watching this 24/7 and not living life for yourself, you need to touch some grass, literally. Like, don't let other people's worldviews dictate how you live your life. But yeah, seek out an adventure for yourself. Like, I know it sounds corny when I say this, but seek out a life for yourself outside of this manosphere content. Take bits and pieces of that person's advice that applies to you and that you agree with, and if it doesn't, make your own worldview. Don't be like how I was in the past, where I would constantly consume this shit 24/7 and not have an opinion of my own. It was just regurgitated information from what people would say on the internet. That's literally what it is. If you look at some of these cringy ass TikTok creators or YouTube creators, no one really stands out because you're just copying and pasting, and I'm guilty of this too. They're just copying and pasting what they see on the internet and regurgitating what other people are saying without even living it themselves, you know what I mean? So develop your own moral compass of how you see life and how you would navigate and make decisions in a way that's congruent to your own belief system, not someone else's. And yeah, that's about it for this one. I didn't want to make this video too long. I was just rambling on, but if you guys found value from this, please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share this with a friend who's constantly consuming red pill content 24/7. Dream big and take action. I'm gonna see you guys. Peace.